All right, guys, we'll keep this intro short and sweet here. We have got a very special guest for you guys today, a very close personal friend of mine. He really needs no introduction as far as his YouTube channel is concerned. If you guys have not seen it, please go check it out. But we are excited to talk to Josh PigPatrol today, mostly just kind of about how he got his start in the YouTube game. But we're mostly going to kind of just chat about life in general, how we both maintain a healthy balance between fishing full-time, filming full-time, as well as having a full-time family at home, and just some all-around good old banter and shit talking with a good friend. So hope you guys enjoy this chat. Make sure you leave a comment down below. Tell me what you thought. We'll see you at the end of the episode.
Hopefully you can cut out blank space.
That's okay. I thought maybe we would just kick this off right here, even though this is probably going to happen several times. I'm going to open my fresh beer, and we'll just...
Are you recording?
Oh, yeah. Big time.
Oh, do you want to know what happened?
Yeah, let's start it off with that. Josh is already leaving. You can still talk though, because I think it...
Yeah, you should. I was just closing the door. Baby's starting to eat more hard foods, which means harder poops. And I'm not going to look at my finger the same the rest of the night.
Well,
actually,
with that, that's the most perfect introduction we could have on this podcast. We'll start it off with a little ASMR. Oh, a little wine guy.
I use that to get it out.
So, I mean, I feel like maybe sometimes we all have that problem.
Yeah.
Started off with a little ASMR on the beer crack, little Modelo. Josh already popped the top on his, but we will start this podcast off right now. We have, like I said in the introduction, someone who needs really no introduction, but somebody who is a very good friend of mine, and someone who has come so far here in the last 3 to 5 years. It's insane. And I'm so blessed to call him a close personal friend. We have Josh Hoover Rathjen. That's how you say it, right? Rathjen.
Yeah, you got it. Most people screw it up.
But most people know him as Josh PigPatrol, the drum and carp king himself. We are so happy to have you tonight, buddy. Thank you for making the time. And I'll thank myself for making the time, because daylight savings has kicked my ass today.
Oh my God, dude. Screwing up the baby's schedule.
Yeah.
Screwing up my schedule too, just my head.
Yeah. Everything. Weird. Yeah. Daylight savings is a good thing and a bad thing, but for somebody like me, it just really sucks. But anyway, again, we are just super jacked to have you on the podcast tonight. We're going to talk about a lot of different things. And because Josh is a new, fresh dad, with his wife just getting back from vacation today or yesterday, he's probably going to have to take a few breaks. So if there's a break in the audio or the video cuts, which don't happen a lot here, that's why. And I know a lot of the parents out there can respect that. So let's just kind of start it off. For the people who have been living under a rock for the last however long on YouTube and are not aware of who Josh is and what he does, we just want to hear a little bit of background from how you came up there in little Lincoln, Nebraska. Just kind of a little, shithole town, no offense. I'm sure you might maybe agree.
Not hurt.
Just from a fishing perspective, maybe if you did other things before that, kind of how you got into everything, and then how you started progressing on YouTube, because you're well over 100,000 subscribers now, which obviously that goes without saying. Congratulations. That was a long time ago. You've come so far, and it's been so fun to watch, and I'm slowly but surely getting there, but we all want to hear the story. So take the microphone from me and give everybody your story, because I'm sure there's a lot of people that want to hear it.
Do you actually have a microphone or no?
Well, it's like the figurative
proverbial
version of
a
microphone.
I don't even know what word I said or if it goes with it, but my daughter does have a kid's bought microphone upstairs. I can go get it if you want me to sing some Justin
You could
Bieber
just pretend like that'd be great, but we don't want you to leave just yet. Just leave when you have to.
I would pretend to use a microphone, but remember what happened to my finger a little bit ago, so I'm not getting that anywhere near my face.
Yeah, probably
anyway.
For the best.
Yeah. I don't really know where to begin. I guess we'll begin when I started fishing. My dad used to take me fishing when I was a kid, but he literally took me to the local city shithole. Like, not even kidding. It used to be a dump, and it had bullhead, and they stocked 1 pound channels in it. So needless to say, I didn't really get into fishing when I was a kid because of that, or it wasn't as exciting. But basically, when I was 20, I got a DUI, which is never fun. But yeah, I couldn't really drive. And then a buddy, Brett, introduced me to now a really good friend. I was his best man in his wedding, and he was my best man in my wedding, Frankie. He was really into fishing, did catfishing tournaments, and he would literally pick me up like 3 days a week and take me out to the big non-city shithole that I still fish to this day. About 3 days a week, we'd go out and flathead fish, and yeah, and then I would fish for channels with shrimp like all the time, and that's kind of how I started with fishing local city shithole shrimp, and then flatheads at the big league. all thanks to Frankie.
So where did the just like getting a GoPro and starting to film kind of factor into that whole thing?
I got a GoPro for Christmas, I believe, when I was 16, and it is still the same GoPro that I use to this day.
I'm very well aware. I was just gonna let you do that, but
yeah, no, GoPro Hero 3 Plus, going on 15 years, still running.
That's I mean, there's something to be said for that, because I mean, I have 5 GoPros, and the only one that works consistently is like the 4. All my 7s all shit the bed on me at some point throughout the course of a video, and that's why I have like 5 of them, so I can just cycle through them. But the OG GoPros, I always give you shit too. I always make sure to give you shit at some point in time about potentially upgrading GoPros, but that
ain't gonna happen.
Nope, you shouldn't, because I go through so much headache trying to make videos sometimes, and a lot of it has to do with just reformatting the SD card, but I never had those issues with the old ones.
The 3 don't even know how to do something like that. That's not even an error that comes up. It's just either on or off, and it's recording or it's not. There's nothing else.
I mean, there's like something to be said about your videos, because, and don't take offense to this, because
you won't offend me.
There's little to no production quality in your videos. It's just raw. It's like how my videos used to be, where it was all filmed on a GoPro. Like you have your, bigger vlog camera, as we all used to call them, or whatever. But like, as far as the GoPro stuff goes, just like a lot of cuts, and the video's 1080p, and it looks fine for what it is. And guess what? Your videos still crush. So
just don't zoom in. And I can't, I'm kind of envious of people that can screenshot off their GoPro to make thumbnails that look decent. Cause if I tried, I've done it, but it looks pretty bad when you screenshot and try to do it. So I always have to make sure to take a thumbnail, which I think is honestly a good practice anyway. But
I would agree. And I will say that when we do fish together, I like being your thumbnail man. I like being able to grab the camera and follow you to something with a background and stage a hook.
You got to have a background. Hook the bottom of the ice.
Yep. Bottom of the ice, a log, something where the rod is bent, where you can just look like something is in your mouth wide open and look really excited.
Yeah. Look like I'm getting ready to take something in my mouth most of the time in the thumbnails, but
yeah, there is that. But I mean, that's just YouTube.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I know the answer to this question, but I always like telling people the story too, because we all like talking about like where we came from before we started fishing full time and this and that. But your job before, well, as you kind of transitioned into fishing full time and having to take time off from your job, what did you used to do before you filmed fishing?
I was the least try-hard furniture salesman you would have ever met. But somehow there was more often than not, I was the number one salesman and I didn't even work full time. But I really didn't try very hard. I was like, if you want some, let me know. And I'd answer questions, but I'm not very pushy.
And it was like a new furniture store, like used furniture, secondhand, or?
It was all new stuff, but it was a guy named Rod Cush. But yeah, sold new stuff, and it wasn't like a high class furniture store by any means. They had some nice stuff. They had some really cheap stuff, a lot of low income stuff too. It was kind of lower end new.
Well, it is Lincoln, Nebraska, so.
Yeah, I got some nicer stores too. What do you think I live? Just in a cornfield? I mean, there's buildings.
Hey, corn time. You always release your videos on corn time.
Yeah, 6 p.m. cornfield time.
So have you bought any furniture from that place since you stopped working there?
Yeah, they helped me out a little bit when we bought our house. And
nice.
Nothing's broke yet. Cross your fingers. But.
Well, that's neither here nor there. That's just a moot point in the conversation. But so from there, that would have been, was that 2018? Or
when I quit?
Yeah.
Here, let me take back over. The first thing that happened next after the Frankie thing, if that's all right, if I take back over. But
yeah, no, the next thing it's good to digress in these conversations. That's what a podcast's for. So go for it.
Yep. Well, when I found out I was having a kid, I knew I really liked fishing. I also knew, not to sound like a jerk, that I did not like the kid's mother at all.
That happens.
Yeah,
Reality.
I mean, first of all, she never wanted me to go fishing, so there was an instant problem there.
Yeah, big time.
So I wanted to try to figure out a way that I could have an excuse to go fishing with some sort of, at least it didn't have to be like a real financial gain, but at least like I could present it as that was kind of the start. So me and old Tyler Club, who went to school together, he was a grade below me. We weren't friends in school at all. I didn't even know he went to my school. But somehow we started talking on Instagram and started fishing and started the PigPatrol thing, selling clothes online. And I was shipping them out with my dad and myself. And we did ship out a lot of stuff, but we were making stuff locally. And shipping's expensive and the profit margins were terrible. And we were giving away too much stuff. And we were more focused on fishing than we were actually at building a business. So we went to no trade shows. We just fished and kind of had fun with it. But eventually it kind of dawned on me, actually, when I talked to Ben one night when I was taking care of my kid. He just said YouTube's a thing. I'm not even sure if at that time Ben had really started his YouTube channel yet. So that was like a long time ago.
Let me just pause you real quick. For everyone who's listening or watching, when he says Ben, we're talking about Ben Milliken with Milliken Fishing. And this goes way back because Ben lives in Omaha, Josh lives in Lincoln. So it was an obvious connection. But yeah, for anyone who is listening that hears the word Ben, we're talking about Milliken. So continue.
But yeah, we just talked about it. He was talking about Flair and how Flair, they were friends then, about just what Flair was doing and how successful he was at it doing it. And we were just talking about maybe starting our own YouTube. I didn't start mine then. I think he already had one by then, but he wasn't big or anything. I'm not even, maybe he had like 10 videos, like, like the normal small YouTube.
Yeah.
But I didn't start doing it then. But eventually me and Ty just decided we were sick of selling clothing and sick of Instagram in general, to be honest. Instagram's just, I don't know, just doesn't do much for me. Never really did. But yeah, we just decided to start our channels, and we had the discussion of starting a channel together. But one thing that Tyler and I learned through having he mainly just answered messages and made posts and stuff. And I did that, plus I did the shirt stuff. But we figured out pretty quick that we're two different people and we shouldn't be in business together. So, we were friends, but we didn't see eye to eye.
That happens a lot. I mean, there's something to be said for working with your friends in a business.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. And I'm happy that we we could still be friends and just agree that we didn't agree, you know?
Yeah.
We're just like, we just don't see eye to eye. It's fine. So it was a pretty easy decision to start 2 separate channels, but it was in discussion at one point to do a channel together.
Yeah. Well,
I'm glad we didn't.
Look at the channels now, like Ty's channel and yours. I mean,
yeah, he's got like 500,000 or something.
It's pretty wild. So yeah,
Josh
is talking about Ty. Josh is talking about Ty PigPatrol because I feel like maybe there's like, or maybe in the beginning there was like some crossover. You know, it's like who is PigPatrol? Is it Josh or is it Ty? And that's why his channel is Ty PigPatrol versus yours, which is just PigPatrol TV, right?
And we don't get it as much anymore, but there was definitely some like his people would come over and call me a jackass. And then my people would go over to him and be like, who's this straight-laced pussy? Like,
yeah.
It was 2 different demographics and just 2 different things going on, you know?
And is he from Nebraska?
Yeah, we went to the same high school together. He grew up in Nebraska. He moved to Texas for a job.
Right.
Kind of right after we started PigPatrol. So.
And now he's crushing it and you're crushing it. So
crushing it. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Well, that's cool, man. Yeah, it's good to get continue. Go.
But yeah, he started his YouTube channel and YouTube likes him instantly. It doesn't happen to a lot of people, and I'm happy for him. I always was. But yeah, his first few videos, I mean, had multiple thousands of views within one day, which is like almost unheard of. And yeah, he hit the ground running and he kept going, and I'm proud of him. For me, though, I had to make, everyone's like, oh, I want to start a YouTube channel to make money. I'm like, well, I hope you get Ty's luck, because I made 300 videos and fished with Ben all the time. And I didn't hit 1,000 subscribers, so I made 250 videos probably.
It doesn't. And that's something that Clayton Schick and I were talking about a couple days ago when we did our podcast as well, is like YouTube now is not like what it used to be, where back then, quote unquote, you could just like Ty take off with like 1 or 2 videos.
Yeah.
Instantly. And now everything has changed and people actually have to work for it. But
yeah, less saturated back then for sure.
Yeah, big time. And it's like for me, that's like I was telling Clayton too. It's like YouTube for me is just for fun. And if the videos take off, which I know which videos of mine take off because they're all Garmin and or crappie related for the most part. You find your niche and you just go with it. But I mean, I got 300 days a year, so I'm not trying to take off, but it's fun to see how things progress over time and happens organically for the most part.
You hit the nail on the head though. Doing it for fun is the only route to go. You can't expect anything. You just have to like doing it and want to do it. If you don't, then you have no shot.
Yep. But and that's another topic we'll probably touch on towards the end too, especially for kids that are listening that are looking to get into the YouTube game, which I know several of them, like high school bass fishing clubs that I present to every now and again, or that I sponsor. That's what they want to do. They want to like start early and make a career out of fishing while they're still in high school, which I wish we had that opportunity. Like all these high schools and colleges now have like these fishing clubs, and you can fish, like get literally a degree, like, or a scholarship to fish. Like where the fuck was that when we were in school?
Not around.
No.
There is like some stuff, but it's not readily available even now, but it was even less back then.
Yeah.
Maybe it is in Lawrence, Kansas. I don't know, but there's like a University of Omaha bass fishing team, and then there's a University of Lincoln Huskers bass team, but I think that might be it. And then there's like local derbs or whatever, but
yeah, no, there wasn't anything like that. But
no,
bass suck anyway. I know how much you like bass fishing. I was thinking about when we would go to Pony Creek, because the frog bite was always so good. And this is always something that I think about, that I always think is funny. Like when we would fish in Ben's boat, and like Ben would be in the front, I'd probably be up there on the front deck with him, and then you'd be in the back of the boat, and we'd just be going down a bank, and you were like, I compare you all the time to my dad because you just cast like straight to the front of the boat.
I'm like, you're going to front of the boat me. I'm going to cut you off. I want to cut something too, you jerk. What am I supposed to do? Pick up your strap?
That just like those Pony Creek, like summertime or like whenever, I don't know, whenever we went there that one time and like the frog bite was really good. And then we jumped over the dam to fish the spillway. God damn it. That was fun.
And it was actually good then too.
Yeah.
Now sure. I jumped the dam last fall, and there was I don't know much about bucks and deers and stuff, but there's a big ass buck just floating in the damn spillway with, I don't know, like 8 fucking antlers coming off his head. And I don't think there was a damn fish in there.
Yeah.
But we haven't got enough rain.
That one or no?
No, we didn't catch anything. We caught some green we caught some green sunfish or something, but I just don't think there's been enough water for new fish to get pushed in there.
No, yeah, for sure. Well, like when we went there, which would have had to have been 2018 or 2019, I think it was the summer of 2019. That was the high water year where all the lakes down here were flooded and they were constantly dumping. So that's when it was good. I mean, we caught wipers, largemouth. We caught big everything channels that day.
Yeah. No, it was good and it was fast.
Yeah, that was fun. It was fun.
Lures hit the water and got bait.
Yeah, big time. It spoils me now because every time I go to a spill, like if I ever thought to go to a spillway now, just out of sheer desperation or something, I would just expect to be catching something on every cast because of you, because that's what you do, which I will segue into our next topic of why you are so drawn to the spillways and leave YouTube out of it. You know, it's like,
no, I have an answer.
That's good. Well, that's why I say, like, you know, we always like, especially like with Clayton Schick on our last episode, we talk about YouTube because that's what he does and stuff now. But it's like, it's not just YouTube. It's like, that's obviously what you enjoy to do. But for you, it makes more sense because you don't have a boat. So you just walk around on the banks and catch fish. And
well, forever in between fishing for channels and flatheads, especially in the colder times of the year when it wasn't good, I would just go fish spillways. And like in the winter, I didn't ice fish, so I would just fish spillways all winter.
Yeah.
So I've been doing it for like 15 years, fishing the little tiny ones that are behind lakes in Lincoln, Nebraska. Unfortunately, well, they're not in Lincoln, Nebraska. They're around Lincoln, Nebraska. Unfortunately, about 95% of them got filled in with rocks. So
I've seen some of those videos.
Yeah,
like
but
where
just little puddles, and then I've been fishing them for 15 years. Their reason for doing it is because of erosion, but all the places look literally the exact same for the past 15 years, and there was no erosion at all. So I'm not buying it, but I'm not one to worry about something I can't control, and obviously I can't fucking control a bunch of giant rocks in them now. But it is pretty unfortunate because I did have good times there. I mean, I'd catch some 20-pound channels. Certain times of the year there'd be walleyes, and I don't know, it was just fun.
Yeah. Well, and that, I mean, that's a good answer to a question that a lot of people probably have is like, you've always been doing the spillway stuff. It's not just like a YouTube niche. Like that's what you enjoy doing. And I understand that because like you're saying, you never know in a spillway what it's going to be. Like you could go throw a blade bait or a swim bait and catch 6 different species in an area that's like maybe 100 yards long, if like on the long side, or 20 yards long. And they're just like all right there. And no one else really does it, especially up in your area where here, if they're pulling water, you can guarantee a lot of the spillways are probably shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah, and one thing you touched on is I don't have a boat, and I just don't really like fishing out of boats.
Yeah,
I never have. I like catfishing out of boats, and that's it. I just to get to better spots. And if I were to go on a boat with you and play around with Livescope, I would have fun doing that a couple times. I need to just make it down there, but life and shit.
Yep. Well, that's another thing maybe we'll talk about later. Is trying to make some plans. But no, that's good. Because like, you know, for the younger audience that might be listening or watching, it's the same thing. Like no 15 or 16-year-old is going to have a boat. what
No.
is he or she going to do? They're going to walk to their nearest pond or fish the spillways when it's right. And I mean, yes, I've fished from the bank, but having been in a boat for the last 10 years and guiding for 8 years and having endless amounts of technology and the ability to move around and go wherever I want, I just have no desire to fish from the bank. But when I do get those chances to do so, it's still fun and humbling because for someone like you that fishes from the bank all the time, you're probably going to be more successful than me because I just don't do that a lot. I don't know what the presentations are like. I always fish stuff that's way too heavy. Like right now, the walleyes are getting ready to move up on all the dams and stuff. And I'm like, I still have 3/8 ounce jigs rigged up on all my rods and shit right now from fishing deep water out on the main lake. But it's like, if you want to catch a walleye that's trying to spawn on a jig, it's probably going to have to be like a 16th or 3/32 ounce jig. Just
man, and fishing the walleye spawn from shore is such a bigger pain in the ass. It's like you better bring every lure you fucking own.
It's my literal least favorite time of year, but at the same time, it's like there's just so many big walleyes. I had one of my clients text me yesterday, a lake about 45 minutes east of me, just south of Kansas City, that sees the most amount of pressure for walleyes during the spawn because that's the lake that the state gets all their brood stock from. So they set nets out and, you know, trap all those fish. They collect all the big females and then they take them back to the marina and they take all their eggs and then they send them to the hatchery. And that's where all of our stocking fish come from. There's giant walleyes in there. And like, obviously with this time of year, you want to get to those fish before they put the nets out. But he was saying he went to the dam to fish yesterday morning early and some guy close by caught, and by caught, he means snagged, a 32-inch walleye. And then he beat it over the head and then ran it down back to his truck and then he left.
Nice.
That's the most Kansas shit that I've ever heard, but it happens all the time. But all that was to say, this is the time of year where if you can get a big fish to go, it's going to be really, really big. And it may only be like one bite and it's probably going to be at like midnight or 4 or 5 in the morning. So it's cool. And I'm going to put a little bit of effort into trying it before I go up to Green Bay here in a few weeks and just see and just throw giant stick baits like Smithwick P10 5-inch stick baits. But yeah, it's a weird time. I don't like trying if they're splashing around on the rocks right now, like if you can hear the fish splashing around and see them in a foot of water, they're not going to bite. They're up there trying to fornicate.
Yeah, they got different things on their mind.
Yeah. But that's I mean, it's just that time of year. Things are in transition. What are your plans right now? Like what's going on? Is there still ice on the lakes up there?
I don't know. I caught the blues of the ice and then kind of just quit.
Yeah, you blew your load on that big fish. Used up all your mojo.
And the season just started early and I was just kind of over it. And edges have been unsafe for a month. Even when I caught the blue, it was unsafe on the edges and was melting as we were fishing. It's just most of the time I push it to the very end, but I'm not even going to say it's because I have 2 kids now, but for some reason I just didn't feel like pushing it this year. Like last year, the last day I went ice fishing, it was 75 degrees out.
Yeah.
And we started with 13 inches of ice. And by the time we left, we only had 5 and somebody fell in as we were going off. Luckily, it was shallow water and it was 75 out, but I just didn't feel like doing that this year.
It's been the same story everywhere up in Wisconsin too. All the ice in southern Wisconsin is trash and everyone's just focusing on the rivers and stuff right now. So yeah, I mean, it's like if you had that last ice trip on that big blue and that weird Oxbow pond, which we should talk about that. Did you actually get a weight on that blue?
I weighed it, but its tail was still on the ground.
Okay.
But it said it was 48.13, but it was still touching the ground. So rough. Yeah. I just call it a 50. I doubt it was any more than that, but I bet it had another pound on it.
So that would be, and we talked about this when that one night when I was hammered, Danny was hammered, You may have been buzzed. Ashley was there. And
I was
you told
definitely
me about
buzzed.
that fish. It was like the day before that video came out. But
Yeah.
that's like would it be considered like an Oxbow situation where like the river
Literally the
overflowed
dam
into
is the dam is the dam of the lake. I don't even know if it's a dam, but it's a straight area of the lake has the river on the other side of it.
Yeah.
It's like we walked up to the top of the hill and could have cast it into the river. And then the river flooded into it a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of them got in from that. I don't know a whole lot about it. Cody's a good buddy. We've been fishing the bigger lake that I talked about for a while. We've fished throughout the years, and there's a Nebraska Fish and Game Forum thing that we talked on every once in a while, like 15 years ago. But I don't know a whole lot about it, but there's big ass fish in there. I can tell you that for sure.
Yeah.
And I know there is an 80-pounder in there because somebody that lived there caught one and then donated it to an aquarium.
Oh.
And then when
like
it was
Bass
in the
Pro
aquarium
or something?
No, it was like an educational aquarium called Schramm Park. It's by the Platte River, but they have a big aquarium similar to that, and they donated the blue to it, and it lived there for like 5 years or something, and then they were having issues with their aerators and called them to come pick it up if they could. And Cody's neighbor went and got it and brought it back and put it in the pond.
No way. That's insane.
Yeah.
And I'm
it's like
sure
83.
it's probably still there.
Yeah, I would imagine. He hasn't caught it since they put it back. Nobody's seen it since they put it back, but they also haven't seen it dead. So,
well,
when fish die, most of the time they float, but maybe it just sunk to the bottom. I got no idea, but they haven't caught it, and that's been a few years ago.
I don't know. I feel like after being handled and transported several times, that fish is probably pretty smart.
I would imagine. Yeah.
It'd be cool. I mean,
yeah,
like it would take like 5 minutes to live scope that little spot, and just like be able to see like, oh, that's probably her, like just sitting there.
It was amazing how much they moved though through the ice.
That's cool. That's like
they were gone.
That's definitely one of the most fun things I've ever done. And that's not even like, I didn't even have live scope when we did it, but last year and then this year catching big channels through the ice is just, I mean, I know what cats look like on live scope because we catch them on accident sometimes, but through the ice is just like a whole nother world. And like you and Jordan pretty much have that niche on YouTube as far as I'm concerned of epic catfish live scope footage and just seeing how they react to baits and how they move and stuff. And I mean, when you have your settings dialed, like you can see their belly, their swim bladder and stuff expanded, and you can see the fork in their tail and just how they work and everything. It's super freaking cool.
Yeah, it's cool on live scope. And basically I just started liking fishing for channels through the ice because they're the only things that really like pull back around here,
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean,
and they pull line like so fish.
It helps when they're 15 to 25 plus pounds too,
Yeah.
Instead of Nebraska just little dickheads.
Nebraska doesn't have that much good going for it in a lot of senses, especially the eastern side of the state. But after talking to like Spencer River Certified and like the Iowa channels, and I'm not even sure about Kansas channels. I mean, obviously the northern Kansas lake that we fished had big channels, but I mean, pretty much every pond around where I live has 15 to 20 to some of them have 25, 30 pound channels, which is huge,
Yeah. And that's way out of my wheelhouse. Like I know that lakes have big channels and I've caught a lot of big channels, like 15-ish pounds that I thought were blues initially until I learned about the anal fin and the adipose fin and stuff like that. Like my first trip to Milford, it's like 10 or 12 years ago or something. I was fishing for smallmouth on the dam and caught a giant blue, which, was like 15 or 16 pounds, but it ended up being a channel because the internet told me so. YouTube, the internet.
Blues and channels can be a weird one. And I really do think that they hybridize sometimes. Is hybridize a word?
We're gonna parking lot that word because I'm gonna talk to one of the Kansas fisheries biologists here in the next month after the walleye spawn's over. We'll ask him about hybridize.
Please get back to me on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen some blues and channels that look like a blue and a channel.
Oh yeah.
So sometimes there's a couple that I've seen in ponds that have done that. I think sometimes they get freaky with each other, you know?
Why wouldn't they? I mean, it's the same with like walleyes and saugers and
Yeah.
like a saug eye. You gotta figure that those fish, when they're up on the dam, they're like, well,
You look good
pretty
enough for
good.
me.
You look
Yeah.
good. How about that? You like it?
And the
then they're
saugers
just-
are prettier. They got extra spots. And the
Yeah,
walleyes are
big
probably
time.
like, damn, look at that, honey.
It's the
Open
sauger time
top.
of year right now. This
Yeah.
is when we're catching great big saugers. Like this exact same week last year, we had a sauger that was 3/4 of a pound off the state record, which is 480, and ours was just over 4 1/4. That's a big sauger. There's full
That is a
eggs.
big sauger.
And we caught one. Oh, in the last video I posted a couple days ago from one of my last guide trips, where like it was like a 17 or 18-inch sauger, but she was like prolapsing eggs out of her butthole as we caught it.
Hell yeah.
And then I cleaned it. But
Butthole eggs.
there's little to no natural reproduction in the state, so whatever. But
yeah, that's what they say.
Well, again, we're gonna parking lot that conversation to when we talked to Craig Johnson, one of the longest standing fisheries biologists here in the state, so he can either put me in my place and shut everybody up, because that's all they tell me is like, why do you let all the big fish go? Who cares? They're at the end of their life cycle and they don't spawn, and I have to feed my family, and my name is Jethro. Or I'm actually doing a good thing by letting big fish go.
I mean,
I don't
even
care
if they
either way.
aren't
I'm going to
spawn-
do whatever I'm going to do.
even if they're not spawning, you're giving some kid a chance to maybe catch that fish again before it dies.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, or even an adult that would love to catch it, you know?
Yep. Well, but that's what everyone tells me. It's like, well, the next person
Yeah.
that catches that fish that you let go, he's going to take it home and feed his family. And it's like, well, it's fine.
Yeah,
but
well,
at least
good for him.
whatever.
Some people need meat. I mean, we got to understand too, like I'm big time catch and release, mainly because I'm lazy, but I still would, I'm also selective harvest, but some people need that shit to feed their family, and we can't judge them for that either, I suppose.
Yeah, well, when we're
But
talking
I mean,
about
smacking a 32-incher on the head and then running up the dam and leaving sounds a bit sketch, but
there's a lot of that goes on. But I mean, say like catch a 70-pound flathead on a trot line. What do you think's going to happen? You think they're going to let it go? No.
There's a trotline guy in Nebraska that fishes the river and catches some big fish and only keeps small ones, but you don't see a lot of it. Stereotypes are around for a reason, and a lot of the times it's true, but people do break stereotypes.
That is, well, and my thing with trot lines is like how on a trot line are you not monitoring them the whole time if you're going to catch and release? Like, what if that fish has been there for like 4 hours just running around with a hook in its face or its mouth and then just starts to digest it?
The dude that I'm talking about does it during the day, and he lives on the river, so he checks every hour, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So,
that's cool. I mean,
yeah, but most of the time not. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's just an older dude that's lived on the river his whole life, and he throws out poles sometimes, but he's really dialed with trot lines and just takes a bunch of kids and likes seeing them pulling big fish. It's the best way he knows how to do it, and doesn't charge them or nothing, and keeps some 10-pounders, but he openly says he won't keep anything over 15, and hats off to him.
Well, most people,
generally speaking,
most people that fish or have been around those fish know that like over a certain size, you know how old those fish are, and you know the meat is going to taste like dog shit anyway. So,
and I know that's true for a lot of species. Supposedly, but flatheads that are big taste good. I don't know. I would never kill one. I love flatheads more than any other fish, so I wouldn't even kill a baby. I watched Spencer kill a baby one time, and it made me cry.
Well, we can bring up that topic. Spencer, Mr. River Dickhead, aka River Certified,
aka RD.
RD. He might be down here this next week or the week after, or he said he's going south and he wanted to stop by and do a podcast. But I know, I mean, every one of his videos that I watch, or every other one, he always talks about like, oh, if we got a little flathead, I think I want to Cook it up.
Bunch of them.
He loves eating his fish.
Yeah, he definitely, he stays out forever,
True.
He doesn't have any kids and seems like he has a good relationship with his wife, and he just loves camping on the river and doesn't really bring much food. So
nope. I envy it.
He does. Yeah. I don't. I like sleeping at home, but
I do too. But from his side of it, it makes amazing content for all of us guys that love being at home and would rather watch him suffer from the comfort of our recliner in the living room.
Yeah. No, he's underrated for sure. He makes good content. He deserves probably more subscribers than I have for sure.
No, he does. He deserves way more than he has for sure, and it'll get there.
Yeah.
I don't think he's doing his podcast anymore though. I think the last one that he did was like last November, and now I think he's just over. His
buddy Ryan's been doing some that he always did it with, but I think when he's gone in the winter, he doesn't do it with Ryan. I think just Ryan does it. But I think during the summer because he goes to Florida all winter now, he called himself a songbird or some shit, or a snowbird. I don't know. Some
songbird.
Whatever. He was like, I'm a songbird now. And I was like, please save me the fucking time of Googling what the hell he just said to me and just speak English. I'm not 90 years old, RD. Jesus Christ.
I don't think it's like, it's like the northernmost part of Florida, like the Panhandle, Tori. You can just like jump up to like Georgia, maybe.
When I hear Florida, I don't think blue catfish, and he's catching blue catfish. So it definitely ain't like Miami or something.
I've talked to him about that, and yeah, it's like the northernmost part of Florida where there's like Georgia and Alabama right there. I don't know geography. Or
the Florida-Georgia border.
Yeah. Florida-Georgia line.
Yeah. I wonder if he's going to join the band.
Baby, you're a song. You make me want. Well, that's probably
Baby, you're a songbird.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Josh just did the That's great.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. What else? Let's talk about smallmouth. I want to talk about Nebraska smallmouth. Can we talk about that one little Oxbow situation that is ruined now and catching giant smallmouth through the ice? Because that was
don't want to talk about it.
You don't want to talk about it?
I'm just kidding.
I don't. If I was in that situation, I wouldn't want to talk about it either, considering that place is trash now.
It was world class for sure.
Yeah.
They once again, it's a pond that's right by the river, and they got flooded and same year probably as that other pond, which the one pond benefited from it and the other one supposedly didn't. But yeah, there was a lot of trash fish after the flood, but there was still a shitload of smallmouth. I had no problem catching 20 inches at will. Pretty much. I caught a 5.8 or a 5.08, whatever, who cares, but it was over 5. And then they did shock the pond to take some of the fish out. Not sure how accurate the information is, but it came from somebody that knew somebody that did the shocking, and they took 35 smallmouth out of there. I think there's a lot more of them in there than that. But one of them was a 22 3/4, and it was 7.9 or something. It was a state record.
I was going to say, what is the Nebraska state record? Do you know, smallmouth?
Not that much.
Wow.
It was the state. They pulled the state record out and they shocked it. Supposedly, like I didn't see it, so I don't know for sure. But the word on the street is that I don't believe anything fully unless I see a picture.
Yeah.
But it came from a somewhat reliable source that told Jordan, basically.
Was it Daryl Bauer?
Is what happened. No, it wasn't Daryl Bauer. I actually like Daryl Bauer. I think he's all right.
I do. I'm friends with him. I'm friends with him on Facebook. It's fine.
Yeah. If I have a question about something that's unclear in the laws of, because there's a lot of things that are very unclear in the handbook on certain things.
A lot of gray area.
So usually I try to clarify with him, and he always gets back to me within 10 minutes, no matter what time I ask.
Nice. So, that's good.
Yeah. He's helpful.
So I guess for people that are listening and watching, when Josh talks about these places in Nebraska where it's like a tiny little pond that's by the river, we're talking about, I think the correct term is an Oxbow lake or pond or whatever, where like there was already a body of water or there wasn't, and then the river overflowed and then it created a body of water, and then fish ended up in there, and then they just do their thing and they live there, and the water levels fluctuate. I mean, we deal with it obviously in Kansas, but there's no Oxbow situations here in Kansas like there is in Nebraska. And having worked for Ben for 8 or 9 months and traveling on, I-29 and seeing like the, Platte River or whatever river, and seeing like all the RV parks and stuff that got destroyed, and how much water that just ends up like in random places, and then it just makes these lakes, and fish end up just thriving, or the opposite. So
I think most of them are man-made though. I think they do dredge them at least, and then obviously the river gets into them, but I'm not sure if they are Oxbows. I think they're man-made.
Maybe. Well, and that's
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I'm sure somebody that's listening or watching is probably going to correct us, and that's fine. I mean, both Josh and I don't really know a lot of what we're talking about most of the time. Even in our videos, we just roll with it.
There's always someone on the internet that knows everything.
That's right.
Someone's got it.
But someone's going to be like, commenting on our videos, who cares?
Yeah, have at it, man. Help the algorithm. I'm not sure how much comments even help that, or likes or anything.
I don't know, man. I just make sure to just heart every comment, even if it's bad and poopy, and trying to make fun of me.
That means a lot to some people that comment. There's a lot of people that look up to us, and even just replying or doing anything like that makes their whole day, Takes just a few seconds for us, but for some reason, I mean, first of all, these people need higher standards, but it's the least we could do to just say something back every once in a while,
Yep. And it's tough. Well, I mean, like my videos are pale in comparison to the amount of comments on yours, but it's like that's like
you get a couple hundred and shit on some of them, don't you? 100?
Oh, I mean, over time, like especially the Garmin ones, but they like the Garmin, all the Garmin videos, even from 4 or 5 years ago, like when Danny and I first started dating, like the very first like Garmin tutorial video that I ever did, just on down imaging and side imaging and stuff. We were like sitting on the couch, and I was like, I feel like I have to make this video where I just go out to the lake and I don't fish, and I just talk to the camera and like show them my graph and my settings and talk about different things. And it's going to be weird. I don't think it's going to do very well, but at the same time, there are no videos on YouTube. And I'm talking about at the time, 5 years ago, of like Garmin tutorials. Like Garmin never did any videos, and no one was doing tutorials. And I went out and I like took both the dogs, and it was just like a stupid video, like 15 minutes of me just talking and showing the graph. And that video's got like over 300,000 views now. And people still comment on it every day and ask questions, and every Garmin or electronics hack or Livescope hack or settings video. I mean, that's like we may be their only resource for questions like that. So
how I view it is, first of all, I think you probably make some of the more informative videos on it. You just know a lot about it. I turn my fucking Livescope on, and that's all I do.
I know.
Just to gain every now and again, but I think as far as YouTube goes, I think there's multiple strategies, and it's not even necessarily a strategy for you. It just sounds like you like talking about it and know a lot about it. But in my opinion, informational videos don't do well at first, but in the long term, accumulate views more than just a random nonsense shithole puddle video that I'm doing. Like I have lots of videos that get 50,000 views in a day, and I'll look at them 3 years later and they have 51,000 views.
Yeah.
With something like that,
it's funny how that works.
You might get 10,000 views in one day when you normally get 20, but then it ends up at 300. So it's more
Josh,
of a long
if
term.
I ever got 10,000 views in one day, I would retire from guiding, and I would know that I was
No,
dialed
you
on
wouldn't.
YouTube.
No, you like guiding too much. You wouldn't do that. I ain't gonna buy that shit, Brian.
I like guiding too much because it just makes so many people so fucking mad in this state.
I know.
Like
let's talk about. Can I bring up a question?
Oh yeah.
I like the name of the podcast, and your little posts on Facebook are pretty funny. People sure like to hate Brian Okalaka.
That's funny.
That's for sure.
Clayton said the same thing. He said he's been following me for a long time, and he's always respected and loved the fact that I call a spade a spade. You know, it's not like you're not talking shit on someone. It's somebody that, you know, is over the top and like going out of their way to say something. And here I am. It's just little old me. And it's like, I'm not just going to lay down and take that. You're going to, just because I'm a professional doesn't mean I have to be professional. You're going to hear about it.
And some people take the super professional approach, but I'm proud of us because we really haven't. You know, we're somewhat professional, but
you always talk about it's so funny too. I was looking at your hoodie. That's the hoodie that I had on before I put this one on. So
we could have been matching.
It would have been cuter if we were wearing the same one, but you always talk about like, I can't believe I'm still on 6 cents because I don't really do anything and I say fucking shit sometimes. And just like, it's 2023 and like we're normal, regular people, and not everyone is like drawing a straight line every day or being a square. We're just normal dudes, and that's just how it is.
Well, there's just a couple ways to go about how you present yourself on the internet. I mean, you can either be yourself or not be yourself, and
you can be like how we are. Weird. That's something that Clayton brought up too. Is like you can be, or maybe I can't remember if it was Clayton or Adam Cook, big cat fisherman out in Virginia. You can be like too professional, like weirdly cringy, like Scott Martin professional.
Yeah, I love Jay Seaman's videos, but sometimes I'm like, dude, how are you so happy? Like, come on, have a bad day for once.
I know. And that's like,
I watch every single one of his ice fishing videos.
Oh, yeah.
He makes great content. He catches big fish. He's very informative. He uses nice cameras. Everything's great. But I just want to see one video a year where he's like, man, today just sucks.
Yep.
You won't ever say it.
I know. You know? Or say, shit or damn.
Not to call out just Jay, but there's people out there that are just, maybe they are just that happy. I don't know.
I mean, if I was Jay Siemens, I'd be pretty happy too. He hasn't made up there in Kenora where he is.
That's true.
He's going to be on the podcast at some point too. Because he was also somebody who was excited when I released this podcast, or at least released the idea. So I was very humbled to see that.
Well, can you do me a favor and just ask him one time when he had a bad day, or at least get him to say shit once?
I'll certainly
be
try.
Like, please, Jay, will you say a potty word for me?
Yeah, he needs to say a potty word. I don't even remember where the conversation was going. Maybe it was.
What do you want to talk about now?
No, we were just talking about, well, the podcast. You don't own the lake. I thought it was it just worked. It's just like, I hear that shit so much from.
I think it's creative. It's just different. And
it's just like even today. So my client and I get out on the lake today, only boat on the lake. We go to one spot and we fish there for a little bit. And then another boat pulls up, and like, we obviously know that on the weekends, we're probably going to see a little bit of traffic. Yesterday, we were spoiled because it was raining for 5 hours. So nobody was there and we were just hammering fish. But then, half hour, 45 minutes go by. These guys pull up. They do 2 circles around us, and then they go settle like 50 yards away, and then they fish. And then my client and I realize that there's tons of fish here, but all they are white bass. And I'm like, all right, we're going to go to this other spot now that the sun has come up.
They followed you, didn't they?
Huh?
They followed you, didn't they?
They did after about a half hour. So we went, and it's a spot that's not even a spot. It's like 100 yards away from a spot, and these wipers and walleyes and saugers and white bass are all just glued down to bottom. They look like channels, you know, where the bottom is just like doing this the whole time. And we're just, I mean, they're so dumb and so hungry. You just work them up a foot from the bottom and then boom, they do it or they don't. But anyway, so it's one thing if like somebody, if you're fishing a spot and somebody comes to the spot because it's a spot, like a high spot or a hump or a road bed or a river channel bend or something. Where we were is just like out in space, out in Narnia, just nothing. It's a big flat. And so these dudes come, all of a sudden I see them, I can hear their shitty motor fire up, and then they're on their way over. And I look over at Jeff, my client, and I'm just like, they're really going to fucking do it, aren't they? And he's like, oh yeah, man, they're going to do it. You know, they're going to do it. It's like, so I come over and they're probably 50 feet in front of us, just like look over. And then I see the dude just like go to his graph and go, just drop a waypoint, boop. And he comes back around, does the same thing. He's just like driving around. And every time I look over at the boat, all three of the guys in the boat are looking back at me. And I'm like, fucking Christ. Jeff, don't catch a fish. Okay. That's why I kept telling him, like, do not catch a fish. Do not let these guys see you with your rod bent. And then what do you think happens? I'm looking around at these guys. I look at my graph in the back of the boat and there's a big wiper coming up to my bait and then donk. And I'm like, damn it.
You just got to banjo it off.
Good one. And so I had to run back and grab the net. And then sure enough, what do you think happens? That boat is just like trolling motor down, spot lock, boop. And we're not even on a spot. Like I said, we're just like on a big open water, like deep water flat. And they were just waiting. But
Only
those are the
boats
first
in the
guys
lake
that would
too,
say, you don't own the lake. You don't own the lake. You don't own the water. I pay for my fishing license.
Yeah.
Dude.
They respect you enough to sit right next to you, though.
Well, so. I mean, I just think I told Jeff too, my client this morning, I was like, well, I posted that video 2 days ago and I was like, we're not on a spot. We're just out in the middle of nowhere and we're fishing on the bottom and that's where these fish are. And then people see me out on the lake and they're like, oh, we watched Brian's video 2 days ago. This must have been where he was catching fish 2 days ago. So this is where we're going to start focusing our efforts on.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if the people that do YouTube in Canada have as much of that, but that's the big thing with the Midwest for sure. It's
not
like
even a
you
chance.
post a video somewhere, you better not plan on fishing there for a little while.
Yeah.
Not that they're doing anything wrong, but it's like there'd be people there the next day. Might even be people there the same day, and it's dark out.
That's true.
It's crazy.
Well, and
there's downsides to it, but.
Well, and that's I always tell people too. I'm like, okay, I'm not an idiot and I'm not like completely naive to the fact that this comes with the territory. If you're a full-time fishing guide and all you do is post pictures of giant fish every day, what's the natural reaction for the general public? They're going to look for you and they're going to be like, I want to catch the fish that he's fishing. I don't want to pay him $500, but I'm going to go fish by him and see if we can do it. And what do you think happens? Those guys strike out almost every time. That's fine. And they may call me at some point, but it is what it is. That's like Jeff and I today. I think we ended our trip like an hour early because we'd caught so many fish and giants and the wind was coming up and the fish kind of slowed down. And I think by like 10 or something, we were like, well, let's just go. We're done. We're good. They don't owe us anything. Did you see the pictures from today? They were big ones.
I did. Oh, wipey dipies. What's the biggest one you've ever caught out of the lake that you guide at?
I feel like it was probably somewhere around like 11 or 11 and a half. And I think that was 2019, maybe 2020, like spring. But all the giants, all those giants, like the real tall ones are early spring, like right now. And then November, December. Fish.
Yeah, they like feeding up in the cold weather months that aren't ice.
Especially right now, like a lot of the wipers, like even though they're sterile and they don't spawn, they will try to spawn and go through like a false spawn situation. Because back when I used to clean wipers for clients, because I don't let people keep wipers anymore, their wipers would have eggs, but they can't do anything with them. So they've got egg weight, just like the white bass, plus shad and or crappie and or drum weight. And they just get so fat. And then in the summertime, they're like you and I used to be, where we used to have good metabolisms when we were younger, and we just could never gain any weight, you know? So in the summertime, they're cruising around and zipping around the lake and just nonstop feeding and stuff. And they can't put on, I mean, we catch some fat ones in the summer, but you know, it's pretty rare. They're all long and lean, stripery looking ones, but spring and fall, that's when Nadine comes to play. You know who Nadine.
Yeah, where'd the name Nadine come from?
I don't know. I don't know why this turned into a me interview, but I kind of like it. Just this back and forth.
I mean, we're just friends Nadine, talking at this point.
Nadine just sounds like she just sounds like a big old fat ant. Like, you know what I mean? Just like a crusty old,
big old
like,
fat daycare owner.
Yeah, just like, I'm Nadine. I've been around this block a couple times, 2, 3 times. Hey, Kate.
Say what up for Brian.
Say hello to the podcast, Kate.
There's like 100,000 people watching right now.
Hundreds of thousands.
Life kind of just hit us, you know?
Yeah, it's true. I mean,
it's always a balancing act.
How old is the baby now?
Baby's 7.5 months, and the bigger baby is almost 8.
Yeah. So that was one thing too that, you know, everybody, well, I feel like a lot of your subscriber following knows about the kids and stuff, but you know, maybe some people, for whatever reason, even with me, you know, when they see my videos, they're like, why don't you post more videos or do this and that? I'm like, okay, well, I have a full-time job, which is a fishing guide, and I have a wife and 3 kids at home that like me around, which is good, you know.
Never ending balancing act, man. It's like, especially when you work for yourself, like when you got a 9-to-5 job, it's easy. You're like, I'm going to go to work 9 to 5.
Yeah.
But
and then
when you got a family home. And then you come home and then you do it all again. But I have a hard time certain times of the year finding balance. And just right now with the ice being crappy and everything else being crappy, I've just been doing a lot of family stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's fine because, well, you can always just go back to, you know, you can go back to the Pony Creek video that you never put out with me, you, and Jordan. You can always just fall back on videos like that, where if you need content, you can just put that one out and be like, hey guys, go to Pony Creek. There's tons of ice. Go ice fishing.
Well, while my GoPro hasn't given up, my microphone gave up that day, so you might never see that video.
Well, that's fine. It was just a fun. That's not.
It was a good time though. I wasn't mad about it. I was like, well, we had fun.
We got spoiled. Some of us had more. When you caught that giant. Some of us
had more fun than others.
Yeah, that's just an excuse for us to hang out.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Jordan caught a fish.
He didn't catch a fish.
Yeah, he had a rough start to the channel tat season.
That's fine. I like Jordan. Got him. Jordan Schmidt, Good Life Outdoorsman on YouTube, Josh's good friend. Go check him out and subscribe to his channel too. He's a super good dude, and he doesn't get the credit that he deserves sometimes. He does hunting content too. Not my thing, but he's expounding upon his channel. So that's fun.
He consistently makes content too. He reminds me of me. I made a bunch of videos before things worked out.
Yeah.
He still wants to keep going. So, I mean, it means more when it does work out, when you tried hard to get there, I think. Yeah. Or maybe not. Maybe it's real nice when it goes good right off the bat too. I don't know. I'll have to ask Tyler, but for me, it meant something that I had to, it didn't come easy. So,
yeah. Well, and I mean, again, we go back to the fact that like when we first got into YouTube, it was way easier to just like take off with something. And
yeah, but even when I started, Ben was saying that YouTube's dead, it's impossible, don't even try. But it's just a different viewpoint, you know.
Yeah.
I still think it's possible for people right now. You just can't expect it to happen fast, and you better be trying pretty hard all the time.
Right.
And not trying hard like with your personality, like just being yourself, making as many videos as you can, expect most of them to do very shitty, and eventually if one does well, do it again and again and again, over and over and over, and just hopefully it ends up being something you like to do.
Yep. Well, I mean,
Hopefully
that's
you don't do some off the wall video and that's the one that does well and you hated doing it and you're like, fuck, now I got to do this forever. Like, luckily for me, my one that worked out was spillways and ice fish, and I like both of those. So.
Right. But that's where I draw the line, and that's kind of where I tell kids, especially that are starting to get into YouTube, is like, don't do the cringy shit. Like we have, well, you especially have done it and it's worked. And that's just how the YouTube trend went. It's like, here's the Walmart challenge, or like, I have one lure to fish, or whatever, just like stupid, dumb, cringy stuff like that. If it works, great. But like for me to do something like that right now would be forced. And I like my stuff to be organic. And that's what I tell kids, especially like the high school bass clubs that I talk to, is like, do the YouTube thing because you enjoy doing it and be genuine and be yourself. Don't be like some weird, cringy personality. Cause like we all have our like little shticks on YouTube, or like things that we say or whatever, but we're still the same people, and we're still probably going to say shit and damn and hell every now and then.
Yeah.
And that's like my whole thing.
The thing that gets me is that every new channel is doing like a mystery tackle box slam. I'm like, you are wasting your time.
Brutal.
Like that might have been cool like 5 years ago.
Literally 5 or 6 years ago.
Maybe 10.
Yeah.
Like when they first came out.
Started.
Yeah. Like it used to be mildly intriguing like forever ago. Maybe. Yeah. But even then, like One Rod still does. I think One Rod's pretty funny. I actually like him. He seems pretty real for the people that kind of started at the beginning, even though he's kind of all over the place. But he'll still do mystery tackle box.
Like anybody who's still doing MTB stuff, there's like a contract behind it or monetary stuff, monetary
like, gain. But
there's still mystery tackle box, still unlucky tackle box or whatever. They're all.
Is that even a thing anymore?
I think it. I mean, they're still like.
No, I'm talking about Lucky Tackle Box. I think they went under.
Oh,
I haven't heard anything about it anymore. Yeah,
it's become so saturated anymore. But yeah, no, I mean that's a good point to kind of point out to the kids and stuff that might be listening. Is when we're talking about YouTube stuff, I'm not the best person to talk to about it, but the person that we're talking to on the podcast right now is the ultimate person to talk about it.
No, there's definitely better out there.
Just from a realist standpoint, just like being yourself. You've always been yourself. You've never changed. You've never had a weird like personality. You know what I mean? Just like me. I'm going to be the same person when people see my videos and book a trip. I'm the same dude in the videos that I am in the boat on a guide trip. It's
and you know what?
Fishing with you.
Whether you're being true to yourself or you're trying to act like someone else, there's going to be people that like you and there's going to be people that don't like you. So you might as well be yourself.
Yep. Yeah. Because if you're not yourself and you're weird and cringy and people don't like you, then you'll just be like, well, wait, hold on. That's real. It's not me. I'm just putting on a mask or a personality for the video. What's the point?
Yeah. And it has to be less fun. And when I started YouTube, when I started YouTube, it was kind of like at the time that bass fishing was actually cool on YouTube, and like you had to bass fish and you had to do like weird lure challenges and shit. And I did that, and I was G-rated at first and made like 50 videos or something, or maybe more than that. But eventually I was like, well, this isn't really fun for me and it's not working anyway. So I like making videos, so I'm going to make them, and I'm just going to be my normal asshole self and do whatever I want, fish for whatever I want to fish for. And
that's right.
It was more fun for me, and eventually that's what worked out in the end too. So even for me, there was a time where I thought I had to do something else, or it's easy to look at what's worked in the past for other people, but that doesn't mean it's going to work for you.
Right.
Especially if you don't enjoy it, then it's really not going to work for you, because I'm going into fucking Walmart to buy some bullshit that I don't want to buy, and I probably already have it. And most people that do that throw it away at the end of the fucking day anyway. So it's fucking stupid.
Well, I always tell people too, when I was like really trying to be like, all right, we're going to try and make this take off. It was when I was working for Ben, where I would just I would force videos so hard and be like, I have to go film a video, like one video per day or one video every other day. And it just after the second time just became not fun. And like
Yep.
some days, especially in the summer, like July, August, like never got a video. And I'm like, well, that was a total waste of time. Or if I did get a video, and I still have them on my channel now to where I will go back and see those videos. I'm like, I had zero fun that day. Making this video wasn't fun. Editing the video wasn't fun. Nothing about it was fun. There was no structure. There was, because like for me, when I make videos, it has to be thought out prior. It can't just be
Yeah,
like,
I
let
got
my
it.
camera go
Yeah.
and just figure something out. It's like there's a timeline of the whole thing. And just same with these podcasts too. So that's just how it works for me. But
Yeah,
I
I
go
used
back
to
and
be
watch
better
those
at
and I'm like, God, that was brutal.
I used to be better at doing just whatever, and I think I had more fun doing that. So I'm gonna try to do a little bit more of that.
Yeah.
Just I'm going here is what I'm doing. I'm gonna whatever
Yep.
works, whatever works. And I've always kind of been like that too. Like I don't love carp. I don't like drum that much. I do like drum, and I do like carp. But for me, it's just if I hook something big and I get a fighter for like a few minutes, I just have fun with it no matter what it is. I mean, if it comes up and it's a carp and I thought it was a wiper, sure, I'm upset, but I still would rather have caught the carp than caught nothing. You know?
Right. Well, but people appreciate that. It's just like guide trips, people appreciate the tough days more because you learn more on the tough days versus the days where we're just lighting them up and they're jumping in the boat. It's like you're so focused on just catching the fish that you don't really learn too much. But from an outsider's perspective, people respect the grind. Because if I go out and if I make a video and I catch 5 or 6 fish, I'm like, oh my God, I can't make a video. I didn't light them up, whatever. And then I put it out and people are like, oh, that's great, man. I really like this content because you struggled. It doesn't always have to be like a lights out day type of deal.
And YouTube's just more of a mental thing than anything, I think. Because, yeah, we get in I was talking to actually Mav about it. And it's like sometimes getting a really good video is like the worst thing for you.
It is.
Because you're like, well, what am I going to do now?
Yeah.
Like, who's going to watch this after watching that?
Yeah.
It's just, the reality is most of the people that are sitting at home and watching a lot of fishing YouTube, I know me and you still do, but we view it differently. It's more of like research kind of to a point, not really, but like kind of. But most of the people that watch fishing YouTube a lot are just trying to learn something, and they probably have a family and kids and don't get to go out that much. So they don't, if we just catch a few things, it's probably more than they caught that week on the majority of viewers. So they're fine with it,
Yeah.
But then you get the asshats that are like, you fucking suck. And
yeah,
you catch something super great. And, well, I'll send you an email about what I caught last week. You fucking suck. It's like, people especially online are just fucking assholes most of the time,
Yep. Well, I got that's like, I feel like at some point during this podcast, I have a whole folder of screenshots that I've saved from people that say like weird and mean and just random shit to me. There's one guy right now.
Mean comments video.
Say what?
Do a mean comments video. For some reason, YouTube blocks all my mean comments now. Like they pop up and I click on them and they're gone. I thought people were deleting them, but YouTube's definitely deleting them.
Oh, maybe do you know how to go check your like offensive comments section on YouTube?
No, but I just click allow all comments on my comments thing.
Oh, okay. So you don't even have anything that's filtered.
It shouldn't be, but it is.
Yeah. No,
they still disappear like in seconds. Like I'm taking a shit and this comment pops up and I click on it right away and it's gone. And I was like, oh, they just chickened out. But no, it happens like 15 times a month or something, or more than that I click on.
I don't think I would do like a mean comments video. I would probably just like bring them up on the podcast. But there's like this one guy on every video here for like the last 6 months. Forget his handle. It's like to see the truth. I posted him on my Instagram story yesterday, but every time he comments
sounds like a douchebag.
Dude, it's the weirdest shit. I mean, just go to my videos because it's always the first pinned comment. Just the weirdest stuff. But at the same time, I'm like, hey, keep clicking, keep commenting, keep watching. You can say whatever you want because it's only really doing us a favor in the end, I guess. Maybe as far as the algorithm goes, I don't know. Maybe that's how it is. Maybe it's not.
It ain't hurting us, I can tell you that.
No, for sure. I just think it's funny though.
And that's what
at the
they
end
want.
of the day,
That's
we
what
get to
they're
wake
going
up and go
for.
fishing every day. So,
Yep.
or change a diaper and pull hard shit out of your baby's butt.
We're gonna have to talk more about that eventually, but
Yeah.
I should probably go get El Child to Beto.
Yep. No, for sure. So just leave us kind of, I don't know, what do you have planned here for the next month? Maybe, if anything, just waiting for the lakes to thaw, or maybe spillway situations. Any trips planned? Maybe, well, except for maybe coming down to see me. Ish.
I got nothing. I don't try to make schedules. I don't have fun with schedules.
Yeah.
I just kind of do what I want right now. And I just get hyper focused on things. And some things that I'm trying to do right now that I'm not going to go into.
Yep.
Plus a baby. Plus Ashley's getting back into work and trying to do her own salon thing. So I'm like I'm super hyper, and I get hyper focused. And I think that's why YouTube worked out for me, is because I was hyper focused on it.
Mm-hmm.
But right now I'm just hyper focused on family. So
that's awesome, man.
I'll get out when I can.
You bet. Well, I mean, it's a weird time of year, and you've got a lot of stuff to just kind of put out from ice stuff for the last couple weeks, so it doesn't really matter. And I kind of feel the same way. It's like we're just letting it ride, and it'll.
Yeah, I got nothing. I got no videos on anything you see from me. I don't. I'll get to it, and it's like right now. It seems like when I do go out, I've done in the past couple weeks. I've done a couple 14-hour trips. That's not including 3 hours driving each way. In the good old Iweja, and I've just got my fucking ass kicked. I didn't get a bite either time we got there. The river rose, so I've been trying when I can, when it works for everybody, and when I'm excited to go, and it just hasn't worked out. So come April and stuff, late March, it'll be more worth my time. But right now it's like either fall through some shitty ice or go catch nothing. So I'd rather just spend time with family.
Well, and again,
or come see you. I should drive down there, but you're busy too, and I don't want to bother your ass. So.
Well, we can always fit you in. We'll talk about that later. We were already trying to work something out, but again, that's like what people can appreciate the most is like you've tried to go make content, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and if it doesn't work, then you're just going to go home and be with your family. And when it does work, it'll work whenever it works.
I always got someone to come home to. All
right, Kate. You want to send us off?
Kate, are you going to send us off? What? Hey, thanks for tuning into this. Hey, thanks for tuning into this episode of You Don't Own the Lake.
Wait, what in the world is he talking about?
I'm so screwed.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we'll let you get back to your evening as will I here. So thanks so much for hanging out, buddy. We'll talk to you soon. And Kate and Josh.
By the way, this is your uncle, Brian.
That's right.
No, that's what his name is in my phone. Anyway, thanks for having me on, Uncle Brain. We should do it again soon. I feel like if you don't have anybody, I feel like we always have something to talk about. Whether it's actually worth listening to or not is another question.
Always.
But I'll come on anytime I can fit it in. So if you don't got anybody, let me know.
Yep, you betcha, man. Well, we'll talk soon. And don't forget, you don't own the Spillway.
Hopefully one day I do own one.
Yeah, that's what Clayton said. Dude, he's going to own a lake someday.
Yeah, I want to buy a house on a Spillway one day. That's the dream.
Love it. All right, man. We'll let you get back to it tonight. Thanks again, and we'll talk to you soon.
I'm going to go kick this kid's ass.
Perfect.
Peace.
See you, buddy.
Love you.